Ready?
Yep.
I think so.
Cue the music. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your hosts, Nelson and Ed. That's right, the squad is here.
Oh, it's good to be back. It's good to be back, guys.
Yes,
Saturday night.
yes.
Now recording late.
Yes. I don't want to blame Ed, but we will definitely blame Ed for the late recording today.
Yes. How dare I take my daughter out for the day?
What the fuck?
You
And-
selfish
Yeah.
person.
And then people that were supposed to be here at 5:30 show up at 7 and take an additional half hour to 45
Yeah, the
minutes.
circus
for us.
did show up as I was parking.
Yes. And then, it's funny because man comes with large trailer.
Yep.
Very large
One would
trailer.
think man could drive large trailer.
Nope.
One would expect.
Yes. And I'm like, so just back it in this way. You could pull your truck out and it shouldn't be an issue. And no, I don't think he could.
No, it's way too much truck for that man. Way too much truck.
But at some point, he is going to have to back up that trailer
Oh, yes.
to get it back out of here.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Trial by fire, I think. And they're planning on driving it to California when they come back to pick it up.
Wow. That's a long drive to
Not-
You
be
better hope all the roads are straight.
unsure of your
Yeah.
ability to back up and steer.
And not only that, California is notorious for its congested roads. I went to California for a little bit during the pandemic, so it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
But I've heard comics on podcasts talk about
Yeah.
it taking 2 hours to drive what would essentially take 20-minute drive.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Washington, D.C. is pretty bad, too, around the Beltway. I have friends that work in D.C., and they shave in the car, they brush their teeth in the car.
They work for the man.
Yes. They work for the hive.
The hive, yeah.
mind.
The reptiles. There's so many names for them.
Yeah.
It's crazy that people live with themselves and they believe in this bullshit. Do I believe in conspiracies? Yes. That we've proven them. Do I believe in stupid, ridiculous shit? Not so much. I believe it's really the shit that's all up in your face that is just much more believable.
Yeah.
Than,
There's some things that I think conspiracy theories are funny. I think
Yeah.
they're funny because some of them are believable. Some of them you hear them, you're like, okay,
like flat Earth.
Well, yeah. See, and then there's some that I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Some people it's like JFK was assassinated and it could have been the mafia or it could have been his political enemies here in the country that are behind the military complex, and it's like, oh, I can see, and I kind of get behind that one because I'm like, wait a minute, this guy shot how many bullets in how many fucking seconds?
Right.
Conveniently, he was Cuban during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then conveniently he got shot before he could testify. Okay,
Right.
all right, and he got shot by a guy who had mob debt. Okay, wait a minute,
Right.
and the bullet was not even fragmented, but so we just get on this rabbit hole, and you're like, okay, well, the people in the '60s there weren't cell phones anywhere. Okay, fine, you fed us a pile of shit, and we all ate it.
But there was a black
television.
umbrella.
Oh, fair enough.
That's a part of the.
And there was a woman. There was a weird woman standing on the grass. Maybe she was a fucking marksman.
Yes.
She had a robot eye.
Yeah.
But
What
then
are
you
those
get,
umbrella guns?
But then you're right. You get into flat Earth. You get into flat Earth, and it's like, wait a minute. Like, how do you know it's not flat? Well, I don't know. Fucking gravity.
We all know
centrifugal force.
it was number 5 from the Umbrella Academy that pulled the trigger.
Goddamn right. Yes.
Have
you seen the Umbrella Academy?
I have. It's actually pretty good.
So good.
Actually pretty
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
the only superhero that bewilders me a little bit is the ape guy. He's like the
because
biggest
he's strong.
softy.
He's strong, but he's not that strong.
No, right.
You got a shitty deal.
Yeah, he's
you got them
hairy,
big old,
he's huge,
big old monster arms, but you ain't got the power to go with it. Like, that sucks. That fucking sucks.
Yeah,
dude.
that's definitely a shitty ability. Klaus is my favorite.
That
in
just
the
sounds
show.
that just sounds like a way to make your dick look smaller. There's no way that his dick will ever look impressive in that hand. Ever.
No.
Ever. You'd have to just there you go, hold it. Hold it like that.
Klaus is my favorite. He started a cult. Talks to the dead. He's a raging drug addict, alcoholic. I mean, hilarious. That's definitely my favorite character of the show. I think they're going into a season 3 as well.
They'll be going into another season.
I'm excited for Vikings. Vikings comes out, I believe, the 26th or the 28th of February.
Now, is this the prequel? Vikings,
It
or
supposedly
what is
takes
it?
100 years after the death of Ragnar. So this is 100 years after the show we watched, the original Vikings.
Okay.
Vikings Valhalla. It's got Leif Erikson, the guy that discovered America. Fuck
Okay.
you, Christopher Columbus. It's got Harold Sigurdsson. So it's going to focus on when the Vikings attacked London and things like that. So there's a lot of the Battle of London Bridge is supposed to be in it.
Okay.
There's a lot of historical things that are going to take place in the show. And
Is that when the bridge falls down?
I'm not sure. I'm not. That when the song.
Will they be fighting werewolves?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That would make for an interesting show.
That was a good movie.
Why is that not a movie?
American Werewolf in London. That was a great fucking
Vikings versus werewolves. Why is that not a movie?
movie. The vampires dominated the market, man.
Well, you got Abraham Lincoln fighting vampires. I mean,
I don't know if there's any werewolves in. Is there any in Viking lore?
There probably is. I mean,
know they
Fenrir,
got some things,
think,
but
yeah.
I
They
don't
got a
know.
big ass wolf, and they have another wolf. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
I believe they
it
believe
chases
in
the moon. One
more-
chases the moon. One chases the sun.
yes, dire wolves is their thing. Like
Yeah.
the extra large wolves. But as far as mythology, I don't know too much about werewolves in there.
I'm sure that there probably was. I mean, they're the berserkers. I mean, they used to fucking believe that they ate mushrooms, men could turn into bears, and they ran into battle naked. There's wild people,
But
man.
that's what made the berserkers is the
Mushrooms.
fact that they were fucked up
That's
on
right.
drugs,
Yeah.
and they thought they couldn't die. I
Dude
mean,
legitimately ate a bunch of hallucinogenic mushrooms, ran into battle
Ran
naked,
into battle.
and everyone was afraid of him.
you know what? I would be afraid.
And I'm
going
gonna
to
run from that guy,
yes.
too.
I mean, you've seen
What
the movies
the hell is wrong with that guy?
where like the guy is like shot up on all kinds of drugs, and the police are shooting, tasering, and they still
Keep on coming.
Yeah,
There's a video of a guy running naked in L.A. on the freeway, and he was high on PCP, and they literally hit him with a car.
Literally what I was gonna say. How
He
many?
was struck by a vehicle going fast as shit, flew through the air, hit the ground, got up
Kept
and ran like the
running.
T went
Damn.
down.
That was literally what I was gonna say. Was how many videos of people on PCP do you see the cops are beating them and they're just like nothing is happening?
Multiple cops beating him.
Well,
They're like, nope, still don't feel it. Nope, still going.
we had a friend of ours that we didn't know he was smoking embalming fluid.
Angel dust.
Good decision.
Yes, and
Good
he
decision.
Got on the roof, and we tried to talk him off because he really legitimately thought he could fly.
Now, how are
He
you
wanted
trying to talk
jump
him off? Because I see you as the type of person like,
Oh,
jump!
yeah. Well,
Come on!
You can do it.
all right. By talking
Believe
him off,
in yourself, you pussy.
All right, let's pretend you're on the roof, right? You're on the roof,
I'm on the roof. I'm high on angel dust.
and you're
Embalming
gonna jump
fluid.
off,
Right.
And me, as your friend,
Right.
lifelong friend,
Yes.
we go to church together.
Got it.
School.
Yes.
We've eaten dinner together.
I'm yes.
Okay. I definitely had sex with your girlfriend as well.
Oh man.
You're on the roof, and I'm
I'm on
like,
the
I'm like, don't do it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you're putting 100% conviction behind
I'm like,
it.
is that pizza?
No.
Is that pizza? I'll be right back.
Back up.
No,
Back up.
yeah.
Don't
Stop.
do it.
Get back from the ledge. Come on.
Just don't jump in front of my car.
Don't do it.
It'll take
Please miss my
hours
car.
for me to leave.
Yeah. Embalming fluid should definitely be off the
No,
list of
I-
things you smoke.
At that time, we were actually all like legitimately trying to get him off the roof. One, because there was a dope ass party going on. That
And he was ruining it.
Yes, because once they call the cops, dope ass party with underage drinking,
Not gonna
It comes
happen
to a
anymore.
halt.
Good
Yeah.
equation.
screeching halt. Yeah. So we sent two of the biggest guys we found out up there on the roof and dragged them
Drag
off.
them
Yeah,
off.
you drag him off or toss him off. One of the
That's
two.
it.
One of the two. Either way, situation's over.
We were trying to avoid the toss off. It was only like a 1-story roof, but we still figured that fucked up. You can either hurt yourself,
Yeah,
or
if your head dive, you still gonna
yeah,
hurt.
you can still do a lot
Yeah.
of
Like
damage.
at least belly flop, maybe you'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll disperse the shock through your organs.
Do you remember that story of the guy? There was a guy in a building where we lived in Avenue U, where he was threatening to commit suicide, jumped out of like a 2nd-story window, and instead just impaled himself on a gate.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I remember.
I think it was
that
like through a
story.
leg or an arm or something like that. Like so, he wasn't convicted enough to do
Yeah.
the actual dying. Like go higher,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But
He wanted attention. He got
I
more
should
than he
say I
bargained
don't
for.
condone suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, we don't condone it here, but sometimes
But it
can
was
be
like
hilarious.
damn, if you're gonna do it, I mean, God, do it right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you
not-
didn't really
second-
try to do it.
Second floor is not high enough.
No.
It's like, I tried to kill myself, dude. I took 6 ibuprofen. Give me a little more.
Yeah, I remember on Seinfeld there was that too, where his friend
1,200 milligrams? Come on, man. You can do better than that.
would always pretend to commit suicide. He's like, "What are you doing up there? I'm going for lunch at like 12."
What's fucked up is when you say that, there's always people when I was growing up, the York Fair in Pennsylvania, in York, Pennsylvania, they would always try to sneak into the fucking York Fair. And the York Fair is old as shit. So the entire fair is surrounded with like what looks like early 1800s castle gates. Like
Oh,
just
wonderful.
steel bars
Yeah.
with the fucking spike at the top. Like if you try to climb over that, it's your ass. Like
Yeah.
literally sometimes. And like almost every year or every other year, they would find some drunken idiot that tried to sneak in, some kid, someone stuck on the fucking bar. Like every year, the cops and the security would just patrol the outer banks, and they would just find some guy. like just impaled on it. And it's like, when the hell are these fucking people gonna learn? Like, don't jump it. Like, it's not wide enough at the top that you can
Those
step
are the
on
bars they used to have at the schools in New York.
Yeah.
Those old wrought iron, just straight
Blood
solid
and
metal
rust at the top.
spikes.
But that's exactly what I was talking about that the guy impaled himself with. Was
Well.
one of those old school iron gates.
We need to bring them
you're
back.
Gonna get fucked.
We
up.
need to bring them back.
Yes, I agree.
It's a great deterrent for people skipping school.
When we lived in New York, we would do this really fucked up thing where when it would snow, we would hide behind cars, and as people are driving their cars down the block, we would just like pelt the snowballs at the cars.
You ever put
Every
a
now
rock
and
in
again,
there?
you'd catch people smoking a cigarette driving down the block, and said snowball is not just hitting the window; it's going through.
Oh, it's taking the...
So we caught a dude. He stops the car. There's like four of us. We're like, holy shit, this has not happened at this point in time yet. Gets out of the car. Now, I don't know if you guys remember the club.
Yeah.
They used to put them around the steering wheel. It's like a steel expanding bar, so to
Yes.
speak. Ran out of the car with club in hand. We're like, get the fuck out of
And
here.
you're 4 school-age kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
my God. So
yeah.
now he's assaulting minors for putting out his cigarette with a fucking snowball.
I think it was more the insult of getting hit in the face with a snowball. I mean, he could have probably drove his car off to the road and hit another car.
So at this point, he's not even a human. He's just a
No.
savage animal.
He's a
with-
savage animal running down the
Bloodlust.
road. We see him, so we start beelining for the closest alley. We're running. I hop the fence. Boom, I'm over. Next guy. Boom, he's over. Next guy. Boom, he's over. A fourth guy gets his pants caught at the top. You know those little gates that had that little twine that would stick up like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like an X.
It's like a little 1-inch spike.
Yes, he got his pants caught in there. He's yelling for us. We literally looked back and thought, like, is it worth the beating? We were good friends. We ran back. We grabbed them, pants ripped, threw them over. We took off before the guy could catch us. Once he got to the gate, he quit. But we really did contemplate, like, are we
Venom.
going back for Frankie?
Let him take that beating.
Yeah, we were good friends that day. If it wasn't for the club in hand, we're like, hey, you could take a couple punches. We're out of this bitch.
we were running from security in a building one time, me and a group of friends, and we went out the back. We found where the garbage cans were. We still had to go because we knew the security was coming, and they had like a gate, like it wasn't spiked, but the bars were far enough apart that like you might be able to step and go.
Yeah.
Well, Ronnie goes over, Rohit goes over. I'm trying to go over. I'm the last one to go. I go literally like I stepped on the top. I'm like, okay, I got enough room, and I jumped over. Now it's 6-7 feet the sidewalk. Foot got caught.
Fuck.
Literally managed to get my forearms up in time. Otherwise, dude, I hit.
Face planted.
Oh, dude, forearms hit. My forehead hit my forearms, and then I scorpioned. And then I scorpioned, but then I rolled on the ground. I was like, fuck. And I got up, and then I started to run. And like, I don't know, Ronnie, like, he turned and looked at me. He's like, I thought you were dead. he's like, when I saw your spine fold, I wasn't going to stop either. He's like, I thought you were dead. But I just thought if I wouldn't have got my hands up in time, like, that'd have been,
Yeah.
I'd have been just laying there bleeding out. On the
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I think I split my head open 3 times in my youth. Like,
All fence related.
like not fence related, but stupidity related. And like I'm talking about like split my head open, pass out from the blood kind of deal, like bad ones.
Heads tend to bleed.
First one when I was a young child, hanging out in the projects, and they had these swing sets that were made out of heavy steel.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm running just as a kid, normal kid in the playground running, and I decide to run by the swing sets. As I'm running by, a lady is pushing her child, not seeing me coming. Kid hits me full force, metal swing, smacks me in the head, splits my head wide open. I hit the floor. I don't remember anything else after that. Another guy in the park picked me up, saw what happened, picked me up and literally ran me to the hospital with my mother running behind him trying to keep up with him.
Not all heroes wear capes.
That's right,
Yep.
man. Literally saved my life. Like, took me to the hospital, like, and I woke up getting stitched up. That was number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, we played an excellent game where we would spin at the top of a staircase.
Yep.
And jump off. This is what happens pre
Like you said-
Nintendo Wii.
Enjoy your video games, kids.
Yeah.
Like you said,
That's
not
what we did
smart.
before.
No. And when you're poor, you got to make up games to play and have fun. Okay.
Like spin in a circle and then dive down
And then
the
dive
stairs.
off of like 10 stairs. Like we were jumping. And so back in New York, all the old school
What could go wrong?
architecture, like the door thresholds and the wood trim was made of marble in New York. So when I hit the floor, I'm still dizzy and spinning. I landed on my feet, but I was still so dizzy that I walked right into the corner of a door,
Marble.
banged my head open, marble, boom, split it right open. I got up and I was able to walk to the front door, like woozy, passed out. Woke up on the table of the lady to the apartment to the left. She called an ambulance, butterfly stitches on my head. That was number 2. I don't remember the third one. Back of my head. That was a fight. Yes, I got into a fight.
Ditch and a rock.
And a ditch and a rock. Yes, it's fucking funny. We were gonna get into a fight in school, and I was like, I didn't want the kid to have a chance to fucking get away with not catching the beating he deserved. I was like, come to my house. Let's not fight in school. They're gonna break up the fight. Come to my house. We'll fight there. Just you and me. Nobody else. I'm thinking, let's do this like gentlemen.
That wouldn't happen nowadays.
It didn't happen that day either.
Oh, okay.
He shows up with like 5 motherfuckers in the car. They hop out. Luckily, my boy, shout out to Tim Dog. Spooky motherfucker then. I'm sure he's still a spooky motherfucker now. Like, just grimy motherfucker who wore like these biker rings on his hand with like
Spikes.
skulls and spikes.
Yeah.
And he was just one of those bad motherfuckers that I had the luck of befriending because he was a neighbor and we played basketball together. He was like, yo, these motherfuckers want to jump you, me and you versus the 5 of them. Let's fucking do this shit. I'm like, I love you, dog. So I go to start the fight. My uncle hears all the commotion. He comes running out of the back of the house. This is Pennsylvania with a shotgun. He's like, you motherfuckers ain't jumping my nephew. If anybody steps on the property, I'm going to shoot you. I'm like, yo, I still want to fight him. I wanted to fight Joey. I'm like, we're going to fucking fight. This is going to end today. So now that the odds were evened, crazy motherfucker, crazy uncle, dad comes out to the patio, everybody's there now. So we're fighting, we're scrapping, I'm doing my thing. And I slipped on the dirt because we're fighting in front of a ditch on a dirt road. And I fell back and I banged my head on some rocks in the ditch. Boom. So he gets on top of me. He's throwing his hands. I'm bleeding out. I can feel the blood. I'm like, fuck, I got to do something. So I grabbed him and I bit him. I pulled him in. I bit so hard I had his skin in my fucking mouth. I was spitting out his, and he goes, "You bit me!" As he's looking at the bite mark, threw him off, and I started wailing on him. Boom, boom, boom. Fight was looking good for me. My dog, American Bulldog at the time, behind like the largest wood fence.
This is like a scene.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Busts through the gate and starts charging. Big ass fucking American Bulldog. His head was probably like 3 feet long.
It's a boar hunting dog.
Yeah, flown in from Texas, specialty. Running towards these people. So I tell you, I swear to God, 5 grown-ass men, they were like 17, 18, because this was towards the end of high school, jumped into a Geostorm, 2-door hatchback, so fucking fast, I could have sworn they were all magicians. Dog is pouncing on the fucking car, and they drove off, and that was the end of the fight. But that was a good fight. That was a good memory. That was the 3rd time I split my head open. So 3 wonderful memories.
Jesus.
Any you guys got any good
You ever split your head open then?
I've never split my head open, but I've busted my nose pretty good once on the backswing of a bat. We were playing baseball in schoolyard.
I'll do
That
it.
was thoroughly pleasant. A second time was in school. Slap shot. Kid went way hard, swung around because he wearing sneakers, not shoes, and I was the person standing behind them.
Oh, way to
So
go.
it was the stick, not the puck.
No, it was the stick. Yeah,
that
straight
sucks.
to the face. That was fucking pleasant.
Yeah.
Oddly, and I think the bat was probably the one I bled the most. The one I bled this more than actually the hockey. The hockey stick wasn't that bad. Actually, one I bled a pretty good bit was a badminton racket.
Surprising.
Because it's a thin metal, so it becomes rather sharp at a high speed.
So it's like a modified axe in a way.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing playing badminton?
Listen, in Pennsylvania,
What are you, Mary Poppins?
They had you
Badminton's tough,
doing.
Batman is tough. Badminton is for bitches.
And oddly enough, for gym class in
that's right, gym
PA,
classes,
they
yeah.
did badminton, they did bowling.
Yes.
They did dancing too. Polka.
Indoor hockey.
We didn't do dancing, the indoor
danced.
hockey.
Yes.
That's where I caught a good one from there. But the baseball bat was probably the worst. It didn't hurt nearly as much as the hockey stick, but there was a
Lot of
good bit of blood.
Good clean shot.
Yeah. I got my head busted open by a would-be hero when I was a child. Yeah, I was caught in a riptide, Ocean City, Maryland. I was getting swept out. Thought that was the end. Was fighting the current for a while. I was like, I guess I'll just die.
Yeah,
So I had to go
yeah.
under. And a
was
lifeguard
surfing?
it was out in the ocean, yeah.
Okay.
Lifeguard came and got me. And he gets me, and I had a boogie board like attached to me. And he had that little stupid ass Baywatch plastic orange thing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That, it makes
Yeah.
him look good, and they run out there, David Hasselhoff. But anyway, so I'm out there, and apparently he's like trying to put me up on that little fucking orange thing, but then he goes, "Oh, his boogie board's better, like it's a bigger,
Right.
better floater device." So he puts me on the fucking boogie board, and we start booking it back to the water. I'm just like, "Oh, I'm happy not to be
Sure.
drowning anymore."
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then I guess a wave comes. I remember bits and pieces of it. Wave comes, drives the fucking orange thing, the point first, into the back of my fucking head. I remember I was on the boogie board, and I was stupid, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then by the time we got to the shore, I'm fucking bleeding everywhere because there's like ocean water in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Split the whole back of my head open.
Those hard plastic orange, yeah.
Well, it got worse because then I got rushed to the emergency hospital that was in Ocean City, Maryland. They had to stitch me shut, but because we had only one car, I left my aunt, my brother, and all my cousins at the beach because my mom had to take me to the hospital. So they all had fucking like level 3 sunburn.
Fuck.
So not only was I bandaged up for the remainder of that beach trip that summer, all my family hated me. They're like, "Fuck you, Ian.
Shit.
Fuck you and your bandaged head."
Well, there was a time where I fucked up a family outing. I didn't quite split my head open. It was enough to split my head open, but we went to
That's a
Sesame
pattern. You
Place.
split your head open a lot.
No, it explains a lot of my fucking humor. I banged my head a lot. Remember when we went to Sesame Place?
Oh, yeah.
We went to Sesame Place, and the
What is
first...
Sesame Place? It sounds like an Asian restaurant.
So
It was a water park.
It was a water park, yeah.
Ah.
Yeah. You know, Cookie Monster, Big Bird, Elmo,
They were
all
all
those
there?
people.
Yeah, got it.
I wouldn't know because I didn't get to see them. I spent the entire time in the hospital with my mother. The first thing we did was run to the wave pool.
Okay.
That's exactly what I did. I ran to the wave pool, slipped, fell backwards, banged my head. Huge fucking knot. Like just like one of those immediate, like it's just swelling. My mother's like, "Oh my god!"
Hematoma.
Took me straight to the doctor, nurse's
Hematomato.
office, and they enjoyed the rest of Sesame Street,
Oh, yeah,
and I
yeah.
stayed there.
Lazy River.
Yeah, I didn't get a lazy anything. I was just in pain the entire time.
Joyous memories from our childhood.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
this stemmed from the conversation of Vikings coming out in February.
I-
That's pretty good. That's good.
it's not bad
I've
at
only
all.
had
Good.
one time where I've ruined a trip. It was a beach trip. It was going with Casey. We got there. First wave out, bodyboarding. Hit a seashell with my knee and just sliced the whole thing wide open. So it was like we were literally there for. She's still putting out the blanket. We're running in first wave, sliding back to shore,
Yep.
and just gushing
Split
blood.
open.
Yeah. it
Shout
was-
out to Casey's mom. She was the shit. She used
Yeah.
to sneak us into what was the name of it?
I don't remember the name of the country club.
Fuck, it was a country club, but she was dope because you had to pay for each person that went to the country club. So what she would do is her scam was she would lay a blanket over the back seat and over the back and like all of the bags and hide me and my brother in between the crookses of the back seats,
Yep.
blankets on top of us. And like, okay, drive right in, take the blanket off, and we'd spend the day at like lavish beach club that we would never get to, like
Oh,
in Brooklyn.
yeah.
But she was cool. She would sneak us in, and we would fucking hang out all the time. So I don't even remember her name.
I don't recall either.
Yeah, dope lady though.
I wasn't there. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Are you sure he is?
I'm
You could have
positive.
been. That
I
could have
could've
been the
been.
very beach
That could have been the
where
very same
Baywatch kind of saved
Try
you.
that. Where David Hasselhoff tried to murder me. Slash save me.
Yeah. So
good
Vikings,
times.
you were saying, yes.
Yeah, I'm excited for it to come out. Yeah, because I'm a big fan of Viking culture. I'm also a history buff. And if you're into that type of shit, the next month, Last Kingdom's new season comes out, which is a similar time period piece.
Yes, that was a good show, man.
It
I
is.
thought
It
was
is.
done
It
already.
might be the last one. It might be the last season where Uhtred of Bebbanburg
Yes.
finally gets his kingdom.
I hope he gets his little slice of heaven.
I hope it's sad as shit.
Yeah,
I hope
'cause-
he doesn't. I hope the guy that took his throne kills him. You know,
He is kind of like,
makes love to the woman he loves right in front of him.
he fucks himself over though, right? Like he always puts himself in like a really good position.
I feel like they've been to his kingdom like twice, and he's always been like, I'll take it later. What? We started this show out, The Last Kingdom. You're trying to get your home back. Like, what the,
Yeah, but if he got his kingdom back in the first season, the show would be over.
That ends the show.
Yeah.
There's also a really good Viking themed movie coming out in April, The Northman, with Alexander Skarsgård. It's got Nicole Kidman, William Dafoe. It's like
So it's a senior citizen Viking?
essentially, yeah. Supposedly, it's supposed to be loosely based off of like this. Someone said that the plot of that movie is related closely to the plot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
Like where and ironically, kind of like The Last Kingdom.
Okay.
Like, supposedly, the story of the movie is young boy, father is like a Viking king or a Viking lord. His uncle betrays him, sort of a Lion King-ish thing. Murders the dad. Kid goes into exile.
Yep.
But his mother like has to marry the uncle. Like it's so his like mantra is like he keeps repeating this over and over again. He says like I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir. He keeps repeating it over and
So
over. again.
basically, I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my father.
In a way, yes.
Prepare to die.
But Alexander Skarsgård definitely beefed up for the role. He
Nice.
looks terrifying. He himself is he was in True Blood.
Yeah.
He played Eric Northman.
Yeah. Okay, that's
So
who
he's a
that
big
is.
dude as it is, but it looks like he added some weight for this role. He's pretty jacked up. And
I'm
he was wearing
surprised.
like bear fur. I was like, okay.
I'm
Like,
surprised he wasn't in Vikings at some point. He's a big enough dude to do that.
I would think so, but they got enough big guys to be in that show. I mean,
That's
the guy
true.
that got to play Bjorn's like 6'5", 6'6", or something.
Yeah, that was a big motherfucker right there. But even who was Ragnar's brother?
Rollo.
Rollo. That was a big dude too,
Yeah,
man.
Sierra that was on last episode.
Yeah.
she traced her ancestry, and she's actually related to that dude.
Really?
She is related to the real Rollo who settled in Normandy.
So the guy that made those little chocolates with the caramel?
Kinda, yeah.
They're delicious.
She's actually the heiress to the Rollo Empire.
She's heiress to the Rollo.
She has a whole chocolate fortune she's just sitting on.
I want some free chocolates.
We knew a guy, he fucked that one up. Wherever he's at. Way to go, buddy.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, as far as good shows, I would definitely like to talk about Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the season finale.
Stop. Turn it off if you haven't seen it. You have not seen it.
Fucking great show.
Oh, my God.
It was probably the biggest surprise of the show that I did not know I wanted to see when
Yeah.
it first came out.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and I was like, it looks okay. I might
Right.
take a gander at it. Fucking love it.
First
Love it.
episode, the opening credit scene. Do you really want it? I was like, I'm in. But it's funny is when I put other people to sit down and watch, and I make them sit through the fucking opening sequence.
Yep.
I was
Oh,
like-
yeah. I
they're
never
like,
skipped
what
it.
are we watching?
I never skipped the opening sequence. I fucking loved it.
It was like Game of Thrones, right? When you watch Game of Thrones, you're gonna sit down for that opening sequence. You're like, all right, I'm getting ready. Yeah,
Everybody
you
was
watch
talking
that
about the
shit.
previous episode.
Yeah,
Getting all jazzed.
yeah. So I mean, Peacemaker, the entire show, I thought was brilliant. It was funny. The action sequences were really good. The characters you didn't know that you were gonna care about, you wind up caring about them by the end. And even like Mr. Brownbeard.
Diebeard.
Diebeard.
Economos.
He had his moments in the show, which I thought were great, and the season ending, fucking fantastic. The way that they did it, and it's been proven. Aquaman fucks fish.
Yeah,
There's no other way to
supposedly
say
he
it.
pays off a zookeeper and sneaks in with the bottlenose dolphin. Yeah, supposedly that's the rumor. And the Flash confirmed it. The Flash said it's not a rumor.
I do love they managed to get that little cameo in there at the end.
Both
'cause
of them.
that,
Both of them.
Yeah,
Barely,
that's-
Flash and Aquaman.
That's a nice little touch for the end of the show.
It was good. Now, I'm excited. It got greenlighted, I guess, for a season 2.
Yeah, they're
so-
already talking about they're going to be getting another season for it, so that's
I think it's
fantastic
great.
to see.
I would definitely like to see more Judo Master.
Yeah.
Judo
Even
Master
though
was great.
he does no fucking judo in that whole show.
Listen,
100%
Zero-
flashy kicks,
zero judo.
and kung fu. 100%. He's got a dragon on his fucking chest, and a judo master.
But isn't that the beauty of it? It's
Where's
like,
his gi?
It's like the judo master who does no judo.
No
it's
judo,
like
none.
Nicolas Cage in jiu-jitsu
jiu-jitsu.
with a sword.
Yeah, I literally was complaining about that the other night as my roommates were watching it. And they're like, why don't you just watch the show? It only bugs you. No, it doesn't. It bugs anyone who knows anything about martial arts. There's no fucking judo being used
It's
here.
true. It's like when you watch a movie and you see bad jiu-jitsu. You're like, that is not an armbar.
Yeah.
Like when
You
The
did not
Undertaker.
complete that
The
armbar.
Undertaker
Oh,
in WWE used to try a triangle choke. And it was like the stupidest.
Oh,
like,
it was awful.
He'd lock his legs like this. I'm like, oh my God, you're not even choking him.
It drives you nuts.
Yeah.
It does. When you
I'm like, I know your knees are bad. I know you've been wrestling for 30 years, but get a new move.
You know,
Yeah.
Do a Kimura lock.
Stone Cold Steve
what I
Austin
do.
is coming back.
How?
How?
Again, I think it's probably going to be that old man wrestling.
Is he
kind
doing
of
the
deal.
Diamond Dallas Page yoga?
Probably, but
Staying limber?
his knees are so bad. His neck is so bad.
He
His
was
back-
wearing knee braces in the 90s.
Yeah, so I can only imagine how
Double
bad
knee
it's gonna
braces.
Be.
I can't imagine.
It's going to be a crazy athletic match, but you know, I think they're doing it for one of their big pay-per-views. He's probably got.
If the
something to
IRS
promote.
has you by the balls, give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Nice to have you back, Steve.
Oh, no, I'd watch it just to see how ridiculous it's going to be.
Oh my God. You seen Shawn Michaels lately? He hasn't.
That
he's,
bad?
he's
Oh
like,
man, his
Is it
eyes
that
are,
bad?
his eyes are throwing gang signs.
yeah, like 5
Oh,
years have been a
man.
little rough on him.
Yeah, that's what happens though, man. I mean, it's
They
you know,
put their body through a tremendous amount of abuse.
that movie Mickey Rourke did, The Wrestler, is actually
Yeah.
a really good thing that portrays what these guys go through at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
That moment where he's sitting at that fan convention and he's looking around the table, everybody's like fucking amputees and wheelchairs. He's like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, like
Yeah.
this is
because
gonna be me.
they
This is gonna be
really
me.
do abuse the fuck out of their
The
bodies.
human body is not intended to take that much abuse that often for that long.
Well, everybody sees like the money that Hulk Hogan made and
Right.
the money that The Rock made, and
Yeah.
they see all this shit, but what they don't see is the 340 days a year on the road. They don't see you're gonna take painkillers so
Yep.
you can perform 3-4 nights a
Yep.
week.
Yep.
You're gonna eventually have to take steroids so your body recovers.
Yep.
Like your body is fucked.
Yep.
You're not gonna live to see 70. You're not.
Yeah.
Like,
and the fact that they are the outliers, right? Because for every Rock, there's 20 wrestlers that abuse the fuck out of their bodies and never
Foley,
make
Cat-
that kind
you
of money. And like there are people like The Rock, John Cena, who are fortunate enough to catapult other careers off of their
Yeah.
WWE
Yeah.
careers.
yeah, John Cena's set now. For a while, I was like,
Yeah.
you know, because he was acting in some things, but I was like, is he gonna take off? This Peacemaker thing, I think he's set.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's,
yeah. I
think he
he's-
just- he's
he's-
got
Found his lane.
yeah, he's pretty good because even without that, he's been getting steady work in the movies, and it's been him not wanting to fully commit to doing just movies
Yeah.
has been stopping him from doing more.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was that critically acclaimed The Marine.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh God, that was such a hard movie to watch.
Batista saved himself
Yes, he did.
with
Yeah.
he Guardians of the Galaxy took care of him forever.
Oh,
He's-
yeah.
he's
it
good.
looks like
yeah.
none of them are coming back to reprise their roles though.
For Guardians after
Yeah,
this, after this one?
Batista, none of them almost. It seems like.
Well, the Guardians
wow.
of the Galaxies is kind of like the Avengers as well, right? They all it changes the team
Yeah.
throughout the years. I'm surprised Chris Pratt isn't coming back though.
Yeah, it's like one at a time. It seems like
He's
they're
too
all
busy
kinda
doing
falling
Jurassic
off.
Park 12.
Yeah, that
And-
nobody's going to see.
And Mario Brothers, he's doing Mario's voice.
Ma- You're gonna leave Star Lord for fucking Mario?
Mario?
Chris, call me. All right.
Yeah, we gotta
it's
talk.
been a while. Yeah.
Let's talk. You're gonna get fat again, Chris.
Let's
It's
figure
gonna
this shit
happen.
out, bro. Stay off the Oreos. You know what I mean?
Another,
Get back.
another
Oreo.
Jurassic Park movie.
It's me, Oreo.
Come on, Chris. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I mean-
You got jacked for Star Lord, man.
The
Gamora's not gonna fuck you if you're an Italian plumber. It's not gonna happen.
Let's be honest, she's not gonna fuck you.
Yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening.
The Jurassic Park franchise in the beginning was probably, I remember as a child going to see Jurassic Park 1.
Cool as shit.
Yeah,
Dinosaurs.
the wildest thing to see on a movie, right?
Dun, dun,
It did break
dun,
barriers
dun,
down.
dun,
Yeah.
Yeah.
dun, dun.
I remember seeing the billboards at bus stops. I'm like, this is going to be the wildest movie. But lately, I don't know. I feel like it's the same story
It's-
kind of rehashed.
We got to see Samuel L. Jackson's arm on a fence.
It's
That's always a good
weirdly
time. Yeah.
dragged out for a very long time.
Yeah.
the Jurassic Park series.
It's like, okay, first movie was perfect, right?
Yes.
They're on an island. They've used DNA and a mosquito to clone dinosaurs with frogs, and now we got dinosaurs again.
Right.
Cool, awesome. Second one, all right, you bring back Jeff Goldblum, and the dinosaurs somehow get off the island and end up in San Francisco. I'm still with it. I'm still with it.
Yep.
Right.
Whatever. Third movie, okay, now you're bringing back Dr. Hammond. There's a Spinosaurus. Okay, it's bigger than a T-Rex,
Yeah.
but
Right.
and it's got functional hands.
The
Right.
dinosaurs are
Itty-bitty.
essentially everywhere at this point. You fucked up so much, you brought back dinosaurs everywhere.
Yeah, but they're like
completely
legit
dead
everywhere in this movie.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like in this movie, they're like living in other parts of the. There's snow.
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? What?
So I guess they started cloning them in different places and they brought them back. Is that the whole
I guess.
plot of the new one?
There's a Mosasaurus in the ocean attacking
Jurassic-
crab ships.
Open
Like
up.
what?
They open up another park and they get out. Then they open up another park and they get out. They're like, so cool. Let's move this park to the mainland. And what happens? They fucking get out.
Well, it's kind of like the Critical Drinker said. They're not changing the plot. They're just
Yeah.
We're trying to breathe life into something we've already seen.
Right.
Like you said, it's a park.
Yeah.
The one movie that they did was Jurassic World. Not the last one they did. It was Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Where they opened another park.
Yeah.
Where that Indian billionaire that had
Yes.
it. And then like what they did with Star Wars: The Force Awakens. It
Right.
was the plot of the first fucking movie.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They
absolutely.
blew up another weapon with plant destroying power. Like
You know, here's a storyline that they haven't touched on. Okay,
it's like, hey, people are getting old. They're gonna forget the plot. Let's
all right,
let's
check
do the
this
same
out.
movie again.
Check this out. You make some dinosaurs,
Got it.
right?
Yep.
From mosquito DNA.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Now you use bullfrogs, right?
Oh,
Sure.
shit.
Yeah, yeah,
They're
and
bigger than regular frogs.
you
I
start
like this.
hatching dinosaurs. Now, speed this up. You do this in the future,
Right.
where there are these magical humans that can control things with their minds.
So they ride the dinosaur.
They have lightsabers, right? Now, when they get out, you can actually defend yourself because you can chop these motherfuckers down.
Or they start a racing league.
They start a Boba Fett racing league.
Yeah, but yeah, people are racing dinosaurs.
then
Boba's
comes
Dinosaurus.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
Enter
I
Jar
swear.
Jar. Enter
That's
Jar
what
Jar.
happens when a Jedi has sex with a dinosaur. They make
Yes.
a Jar Jar Binks.
It's only a matter of time for you that they're there. I mean, we're getting there. We're getting there now.
Yeah.
Supposedly in this movie, there's a bigger T-Rex.
Oh, of course, because you need a bigger, badder
Yeah,
dinosaur,
yeah,
and
that-
that's always the problem.
Yeah, I
Right?
don't know, man. It's
And you can't bring in like a Ceosaurus, right?
they've already
Oceansaurus.
they've already created super dinosaurs
Yeah,
in the last one.
Right.
It's just another franchise that needs to die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
It
agree.
does.
I agree. I think if anything, this movie's gonna do it. Speaking of franchises that should die, in one of our previous episodes, we were talking about the Matrix Revolutions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Regurgitation.
Regurgitations. Keanu Reeves was like, they were definitely making fun of the past movies with this movie. Like,
Yeah.
even Keanu was like bewildered as to why this movie was made in
It
the way
shouldn't
that it
have been
was.
made. It should have been made. I want to hear the other Wachowskis' opinion.
Yeah.
Find him or her.
Yeah.
And let's fucking talk to them.
They probably had to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Because I want to see another movie. Fine. I'll watch another movie, but I don't want Lana anywhere fucking near it. I don't want her in the coffee room. I don't want her as an advisor. I don't even want you to call her. No,
Yeah.
no. Leave her out of it. We've seen your version. Thank you.
It's like,
we want
what-
to see the
we're
other
good.
version. Jesus, God.
What was the script that he signed on for versus the script that they actually put on screen?
This is what I imagine. I imagine Keanu Reeves being the awesome stand-up fucking human being that he was. Lana Wachowski appeared in a puff of fire and smoke and said, "I'm making another Matrix movie
And glitter.
and Trinity has already signed on." And he said, "Well, I don't really like the way this looks. I'm not gonna sign on. I'm not gonna do this." And he goes, "Well, we're gonna make the movie without you." And he probably thought, "The fans
do this
need
for the
me
fans."
here. This is a pile of shit, but I have to do what I can for the fans."
He's
And
such a
he
saint.
signed- He did.
Such a saint.
He probably didn't want paid for it.
You know,
I
what? You're
guarantee
right.
he probably didn't take any money
Yeah,
for it.
he gave the money to orphans.
In New York City, yes.
In New York City
That's what he did.
orphans,
That's what he
yes.
did. That's the only way that I can justify Keanu being in it. So that's what happened. So spread the rumor. Keanu did it for charity.
Good things getting sequels. Vox Machina is getting another season.
Ooh,
Yes. If you
That's
have not seen
such
it,
a
you're on
great-
Amazon Prime. You need to check out The Legend of Vox Machina. It's so good.
Yep.
It is so damn good.
That was a good show that you referred to us and we watched.
Yeah.
I saw
loved
it.
it.
I saw a trailer for it. I was scrolling through YouTube. It was a recommended trailer for me a couple days before it dropped, and I was like, "This looks like some fantasy Dungeons and Dragons shit." I shared it to you guys, expecting, based on the review, this looks like something. If it's not good, at least it'll be entertaining for a brief moment.
Absolutely.
And it turned out to be
fantastic.
100% on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way.
Unlike
100%.
when we asked you to watch Firefly at least a fucking dozen times, which you would love because you like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Right?
The animated one.
You like
Animated
guns,
one.
thievery, comedy.
Wait, pause. Guns are okay.
You like
I love
zombies?
zombies.
You like
Thievery.
zombies? Oh yeah,
I did steal a
they're
pack of
space
cigarettes once.
thieves fighting space zombies. Hence the Ravers.
Space zombies?
Ravers.
Reavers.
Do they pilot ships?
Yeah.
How's a zombie
Reavers?
pilot a ship?
They do.
How? Their fingers rotting off?
Well, they are semi-zombie.
Help me out here.
They're semi-zombie.
Semi-zombie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they use the bone in the digit to just hit the autopilot.
Yeah.
So basically, what it
They
is
bone in the coordinates.
they are like normal people, but what
Bone in
happens
Earth.
is they basically live adrift in space. So if you happen to pass them in space,
They attack you.
They attack
Space
you, kill you,
madness. Yeah.
murder you, and make you a part of their zombie horde.
Ah. So they're kind of like zombie Borg.
Yes.
Kind
Little
of.
Star Trek.
Yes,
I'm
except
not even a Star
all-
Trek guy, and I
but
put it
not,
in
not
there.
everyone's assimilated. Some of them are eaten.
Oh, well, yeah, you can't assimilate everybody.
No,
You know?
not everybody's made
Can't
for
assimilate
assimilation.
everyone,
Yeah.
You can't assimilate everyone. We're not the United States. You know?
Well, since you said Star Trek, we might as well bring up Star Trek Discovery, which is a show that I've been watching. I don't know if you guys watch.
I haven't
it
been watching this season.
Bro, I haven't followed Star Trek since Next Generation.
Since
right?
Next Gen.
So I'm a little.
As far as Star Trek shows are concerned, it's probably the finest quality Star Trek show that they've put out.
Really?
Altogether. Like each episode is like a 45-minute movie quality as far as the acting, the script, the theatrics, everything. Like the show is really, really fucking well done. It's actually Voyager was my favorite Star Trek for the longest time, and I'm talking about like 12 seasons or whatever that I watched every single fucking episode.
It was going on for a while. I remember back in the day they were always talking about the new season of Star Trek Voyager.
Oh yeah, yeah. So this show is just it's so well done. You do have to be a bit of a sci-fi nerd to enjoy it as much as I do. But as far as the storyline, the complexity, like sticking to the Star Trek lore, absolutely killing it.
I'm watching All of Us Are Dead on Netflix. I just started it today. Zombie takeover in a Korean high school. I tell you what, man, the Koreans are knocking it out of the damn park because Squid Game kind of like put them in the forefront.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they won Best Picture like a year or two ago with Parasite.
Ooh,
It won
I still
like Best
haven't seen
Film.
that.
It won like Best Director. It won a bunch of
Was
shit.
it good?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
But
Maybe we should watch it.
We should watch
All
that
right,
because
all
that
right.
is actually supposed to be a great fucking film. It won all these awards and shit. And then they created Squid Game, which was like the #1 show in the world for a long time.
Yep.
Nice.
And they were literally dominating horror because they did Train to Busan, which I still think is probably one of my top 10 favorite horror movies of all time because I was unprepared for how good it was.
Right.
Zombie movie on a train. Then they did Kingdom, which is like zombies meets past, like medieval times in Korea.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, I like that a lot. I finished all the seasons. And now this, I wasn't ready for how much it hit you.
Right.
I mean, this shit just
Spooky.
TVMA, like fucking school nurse biting a chunk out of a kid's face. Like I was like, oh, we're here.
Good
I was
times.
like, yes. It's very adult, very graphic, but I'm excited for episode 2. All of Us Are Dead on Netflix. If you're into horror, if you're into the zombie genre,
Nice.
and you know I like zombies.
All of us are dead.
Zombies and thievery. That's what I'm about.
All right. What about you, Eddie? Are you into these zombies?
Nah, no, not so much. Not a big fan of too much horror stuff. I'll watch every now and then something that really pops in, but I don't go out there looking for it.
I heard the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a real piece of shit. At least that's what I heard. I will not be watching that one Netflix.
And
Thanks though.
And that's because it's like, how many times can you keep telling the same story?
Yes.
And
Okay,
that's
we
what they
get it.
Really need
He's
to
a
learn.
big window licker in a mask with a chainsaw.
Yeah,
we
but
got
they-
it. We got it.
They
okay.
figured, you know what? Listen, if we can bring
Shoot
back,
him. How can you sneak up on someone with a chainsaw? They
Yeah.
they idle.
You hear him coming. And look, let's
What's
be
that?
honest. How long does it fucking take to turn a chainsaw on? You're like, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna kill you
Yeah,
in
exactly.
a minute. Just hold on. I have to prime this. 1 second.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna kill you.
I was like, what's he using? Is it a steel? What is it? Is it is it a Husqvarna? What are you killing me with
What the
here?
fuck is up with chainsaw technology? How has that not improved as of yet?
None are quiet enough to sneak up on anybody.
Yeah, you
Right.
know what I mean.
So
Like,
he's a
why
big
is it so
dopey
difficult?
fuck. And a chainsaw is not a quiet thing. How's he gonna sneak up on you in a house? It goes. Brr, 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 brr. I mean, like you'd be like, okay, he's coming from the left, like you know.
To be fair, Diebeard, he saved them and he killed the gorilla
Yeah, that's
With a
right.
with the
chainsaw.
chainsaw.
Yeah.
With
Yes,
a chainsaw.
which wasn't his idea, but he did execute it.
Yes.
So, but the chainsaws can be. I don't know. Chainsaws just not like. I don't know.
It's the worst murder weapon. Like, so
What's his name used it though? Ash, Evil Dead.
Yes.
Army
Yes.
of Darkness. He used it pretty well.
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to sneak up on nobody.
No, you don't have
No.
to sneak up on the dead. They just come right at you.
yes, yeah, they
Groovy.
they volunteer for death again. Yes,
They want to be re-dead.
yes, they're redying.
They're trying to get re-deadified.
What about you, Ed? Watching anything new?
No, I haven't dipped into anything new besides Vox Machina, but I did see something interesting following the ending of Man in the High Castle, where they were destroying some of the props from the filming. Where they actually
What could have been
filmed-
wrong with the props? I wonder.
Please explain what
they-
is Man in the High Castle.
Yeah, give us a backstory so people can understand the time
It's
period.
it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
bit of a change on history where the Nazis win.
Ah,
So there's a lot of
Walt Disney's preferred ending scenario.
Poor Walt. Let the man rest in peace.
Let the man rest in ice? No.
there's a lot of Nazi paraphernalia with the show and all that. So
Right.
they've actually outright filmed them cutting them into little pieces and sorting them and burning, destroying anything that had a swastika on it, which was an interesting thing to see because usually shows at the end they're auctioning off any last penny they could make.
Sure.
I
Is
bet
what
you,
they're
I bet
looking
you
to
Jeff
do.
Bezos buys all of it. All of that. I'm on to you. I'm on to you, Jeff.
and flies it to space.
Future emperor of the earth, Jeff Bezos.
You know what? It was actually a really good show. When you watch it, I thought it was pretty intelligently done. It's kind of a fucked up look at what could have happened.
Yeah.
Bro, the Germans could have beat us.
Yeah,
I mean, and no joke, like when Germany, World War II, when that shit broke out, Germany had the best military on earth.
Yeah.
Like if it would have been just one-on-one, U.S. versus Germany, I don't know, man.
I
They-
do. America, woo! Best army on earth. Drinking Budweiser, bitch.
Let's not tell them about the Vietnam War.
Yeah, listen. Our ingenuity, our sawed-off shotguns, our high shoe wear. We call them boots.
Yeah. No, but you have to. The one thing that does surprise me is like Germany went from being like broke.
Yeah.
The treaty after World War I had their economy destroyed, and in like 15 years they turned their little country into the most advanced military on the planet. Like they talk about German engineering for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Tiger tank was pretty fucking impressive in 1935. It was scary as shit. Like the Russians didn't have anything to deal with it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, think about Volkswagens. You know?
yeah, BMW, Mercedes,
Some good vehicles.
Audi.
Just don't take them to a mechanic.
Yeah, don't.
Charge you no.
All right, I'm like,
Yeah.
we don't know
might
how
as
to
well
fix
just drive
this.
it to Germany and drop it off at their prices.
Yeah. 'Cause that's what happened after World War II. Half the German scientists went to Russia, and the other half went to us.
And
To
brought,
NASA.
it, brought us to the moon.
Legit, yeah.
Yeah, there's some pretty crazy documentaries about where they went and
The
what
guy
they
that
were
created
doing and
Captain
stuff like
America's
that.
fucking serum.
Project Paperclip.
Yeah,
He gave us Captain America.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wild shit with those stories.
The
with those
German
people.
engineering was it, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
They also there's all kinds of fantasy shit where they say the Germans were looking for occult stuff. That's where Hellboy comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They said Hitler was trying to find
The Nazi bell and all that
the
UFO
Fountain of
and
Youth,
time
all sorts
travel.
of shit he was into.
Yeah.
Like, he was into the occult.
Yeah.
In Helsing.
Well, they got
the
a whole
bad guys
city.
are always the Nazis.
There's a whole city of German folks down in Brazil,
Argentina.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Hellboy was
ones that
Marvel or
fled.
DC?
Hellboy is DC, I want to say. Hellboy's in DC because he's in that fucking game you love so much.
Yeah, yeah.
Injustice too.
Injustice.
No, you know, that's another hero that I think gets overlooked. That movie wasn't bad at all. Both
No.
Hellboy 1 and 2 were pretty
The
good.
ones with Ron Perlman were good.
That's what
Yeah.
happened.
The
is
ones
when they
with
changed
fucking
out
Stranger
Ron
Things
Perlman.
guy, that was a pile of
That's
donkey
where
shit.
it went. That's where it went to shit because
Yeah.
the first two were good. I was trying to remember why did that get any bigger. Than
I actually didn't
don't-
mind the second
I
one. I didn't
don't
mind
know.
Hellboy and the Golden Army.
No,
I thought
both
it
of
was
those
pretty
were good. Yeah.
I don't know why they changed up and they tried to reboot and bring somebody else
Well,
in.
Ron Perlman was Hellboy.
but
And he got old. I think is what
Yeah,
it is.
and
He's
he
a
won-
lot older than he looks because he's
Yeah.
always looked like an old fucking man.
yeah, because he wanted to do one last one. He
Ron
wanted-
Perlman is the merger of human and simian. Like he is just like that jaw. Just,
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
Ron Perlman was Hellboy.
Oh yeah. for
Ironically,
sure.
Ron Perlman plays in a movie. You have to look this up. Someone has to look it up. But it's a movie. It's a horror movie where there's like genetically like enhanced, what are they, baboons or whatever. And like they're like really aggressive and they're weaponized.
Right,
And it's
right.
fucked up because the one scene like the baboons like screaming and like and Ron Perlman's there growling with his gun. I'm like, what are you two arguing about? I'm like, come on, man.
He's like, shh, we're talking.
Yeah, they look at like, come on, man. That's a similar jawline. Man. I love Ron Perlman, but that's a similar jawline. I'm sorry. Like that's just fucking aggressive looking human being.
Oh yeah, that was another series of movies, Planet of the Apes. I tried to get into them and watch them, and I just
Nah.
never
The original ones are too good.
quite loved them. I even like it was a TV show at first, wasn't it, or was it just movies?
It was a movie with Charlton Heston originally.
Yeah, I don't think it was a TV show. But I watched them.
There was something. There was a TV show I think they tried to make. They tried to
Yeah.
make something with it.
I think so, but I don't know. Something
Figure it
like
out.
with
I want to say there
apes
was.
versus humans kind of deal.
Yeah,
I'm
they
just like,
they never caught on for me.
Well, they kind of ran with it with the newer ones. The newer ones, they just kind of
newer
another
ones
thing they
weren't-
tried to milk.
Yes. Yeah, they weren't terrible. It was just like even I think Woody Harrelson was in one of those Planet of the
The
Apes
latest
movies.
ones, yeah.
I don't know. I just never got into them.
No, I know they got a cult following and they kind of have a bit of a status behind them, but I don't.
Yeah, even like the King Kongs and Godzillas.
Yeah.
I always loved the lore of King Kong and Godzilla more than I actually like the movies
Planet-
of
Planet of
King
the
Kong.
Apes was a TV series in 1974. It ran for one season.
See? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, because I agree. The idea of King Kong and Godzilla has always been more entertaining to me than the actual property when it gets put out.
Yes.
I love Godzilla.
yeah.
I've been a fan since it was the Japanese dude in the suit, big rubber
So-
suit, sweating his ass off while they were blowing up things on the state or on the set. It was amazing. I've seen probably every Godzilla movie there is.
So like Godzilla versus Mothra,
Yep.
Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla.
All of them, yeah.
There's so many.
Terror
of
of
them.
Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Megalon, Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, Godzilla 1985, Godzilla versus Biollante,
But see, I guess where I
Godzilla
lose,
versus Destroya.
yeah, King Kong versus Godzilla, to me, I don't care if Godzilla is shooting fire out of his fucking asshole. King Kong would fuck him up. He's got these things called hands, right?
Yeah.
This is Godzilla, T-Rex hands, T-Rex hands.
He's got
And then-
arms. Godzilla's got some biceps.
Yeah, he's got. Where? He can't even fucking feed himself with those hands
Yes,
if
he
he
can.
wanted to.
Come on, man.
You put a fork in his
He's a
hand and he
nuclear
would
lizard.
starve.
Godzilla is the king of all monsters. He's the king of all monsters.
Listen, King
That movie
Kong,
would have ended. That movie would have ended on the aircraft carrier, which would not have been able to support fucking King Kong. Let's
I
be
agree.
honest.
That,
I
yeah,
agree.
There's some buoyancy issues there.
especially him bouncing around.
Also,
problem.
when Godzilla knocked King Kong into the water, that's it.
Yeah, it's game over.
He's
Yeah.
a giant
It's
ape.
game over.
Apes don't have the adipose tissue to float.
Apes
I
can't
agree.
swim.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Roll
there was
credits.
there was a lot of bad decisions made in the movie that took you out of like, though this is fantasy, it's like,
Yes.
come on.
Yeah.
Now, I
what the
agree.
fuck
A
is going
gorilla
on
that
there?
size would be unmeasurably strong.
In the city,
Unmeasurably strong.
not in the water, in the city, I think King Kong fucks him up every single time.
I got to go with Godzilla just because I've seen Godzilla do some shit.
All right.
I love Godzilla. I've seen his record.
Okay, so then where do you sit with Batman and Superman? You're a Batman guy, aren't you?
I'm not a fucking Batman guy. One guy can throw the moon at the earth. The other guy is Donald Trump with a black belt. No, that's not how it works.
I love it when people are like, "There's just no way that Superman could beat Batman." I'm like, Superman could beat Batman in his sleep. There's just no fucking way.
Like,
I
even-
don't
there's
care.
just
Even
too
if he
many
could
ways.
land one punch before the kryptonite takes a hold,
Even if there's a
done.
world with kryptonite, all Superman has to do is actually take the fight seriously from half a mile away, fucking laser eyes.
Or fly into space and wait 100 years for Batman to die. Like, come on, let's be honest.
Or fly into space and take a shit directly on Batman from space.
With such velocity
Velocity.
that the turd severed his spine. I look at the villains here. Look at the villains. Batman fights people that, Bane, Killer
Penguin.
Croc, things like that. But most of his villains are just people with mental disorders that are dangerous and psychotic people.
Yes.
I'm sorry, they are. Like, Poison Ivy's a whore. Joker's insane.
Right. Right.
Clayface is all screwed up, has a bad self-image. Anyway, but Superman's villains are legit world-threatening villains.
Yes.
Like, they're not going to drop a gas bomb on the
He's
city.
fought off
They're not gonna rob a
alien
bank.
armies.
Yes. Brainiac is going to wipe out the planet.
Correct.
Like, Darkseid is an old god that destroys things with his eyes and dominates worlds. Like, these are villains that, like, Batman comes along for the ride, and Batman is the most badass human on the planet.
Right.
Here's an idea to wrap it up. Who's got the best rogues gallery of villains?
Who's got the best villains to fight?
Yeah.
I think Batman just has a better, well-developed everything. He's got a better, well-developed everything. I mean, Batman is the most successful franchise in DC.
Any Marvel DC?
Any character.
Spider-Man.
You think Spider-Man?
Yes, Spider-Man has always had a plethora of villains to fight that have like some sick abilities.
Spider-Man is Marvel's Batman. Because
yes,
DC,
that's fair to say.
Yeah,
that's fair to say.
Because DC, like, everyone loves the Joker. People, I mean, there's so many Batman villains that people love, and like the darkness behind it, and the fact that he's such a tortured. He's got this horrible backstory. I mean, other heroes do too.
Yeah.
But his especially, everyone knows about Thomas and Martha Wayne lying dead in the alley. Everybody knows about his whole fucking, and he made his fear of falling in that cave. He turned it into his persona. Like, everybody knows Batman's story.
Yeah,
just like everyone knows about Uncle Ben.
Right.
And they make the rice
Spider-Man
jokes.
story. Yeah. And then I think once you jump into like now with the Spider-Verse expanding, it just makes all the villains that much more dangerous. And what I like about Spider-Man is he usually is fighting multiple villains.
And Spider-Man's the complete contrast of Batman. He's all daylight.
Yeah.
And he's all flashy and bright. And his villains are like Doc Ock and the Hobgoblin.
Yep.
And like, his villains are all out there and colorful. Whereas Batman, like, you picture Batman fighting a villain, it's on a city rooftop, like dark
It's
at night.
gritty.
And he's punching it out with, like, I don't know,
But
the
it
Joker or something.
it is an interesting thing that you pointed out. Superman's really the guy that has a assortment of bad guys that are like world ending.
Right.
Because as good as Spider-Man's villains are, not many of them are world ending.
No, the Green Goblin's not going to end the planet.
No.
Dr. Octopus isn't going to blow up the Earth. That's not how it goes.
they're killing one or two at a time.
Venom.
Yeah. Right. Venom's really dangerous.
There was an arc in Marvel where Venom
was the
and
most
the
powerful hero.
symbiotes
He's the
were
most powerful hero.
overtaking the entire planet. So that's
Just
a world-ending
just
villain
because the
right
god,
there,
just
sir.
because the god of the symbiote's Null.
Yes.
A lot of people don't
Null.
know about Null.
Yeah.
But Null is a god killer. And actually, to set up the next Thor movie, Gore the God Killer, played by Christian Bale, his weapon is actually the Dark Sword, which was created by Null.
Yo, I really feel like
fucking
they could take it in the direction of the symbiote lord if they
Well,
wanted to go that route.
if you haven't seen
for an
the
end villain,
If you haven't seen the end of the Spider-Man movie yet, you just sat through the credits. One, you're a fucking idiot. It's been months. But we're going to touch on it here. When Tom Hardy disappears and a little bit of the symbiote falls, it keeps the memories of Tom Hardy and the conversation that just happened, and it goes off.
So they did. They brought in.
Yeah, they brought it in.
We're going to start seeing some symbiotes.
Yeah, and the fact that in the comics, some of the heroes that fought off the symbiote villains, one of them is the Knight.
Yeah.
The
Black Knight.
The Black
Knight.
Knight.
Played by Jon Snow.
He's key. And his weapon is key into fighting.
Yeah.
And the X-Men get brought into play.
Yep.
Well, we saw the back of Xavier's bald ass head in the trailer for Multiverse.
That's exactly what I was
We
going to
saw
say.
the and I've heard a rumor. This is a
Okay,
rumor.
go
This is
for
just
it.
a fan theory, and we're going to spit it out. You heard it
Go
here
ahead.
first on the Sofa Kingdom podcast. Supposedly in the poster, top left corner, you can see one of the little fragments. You can see Deadpool's face.
Yes.
Now, when they asked Ryan Reynolds about this, he began to laugh hysterically during the interview. He said, "I am contractually obligated not to talk about this." He said, "But I am definitely not in the movie." And they started to laugh. And they said, they said, "You just said you're not allowed to talk about it." He began to laugh. He said, "I'm definitely not in the movie." Then he proceeded to
You gotta
say.
love him.
Then he also proceeded to say, "Did you guys know I own a house in London worth $4 million?" So he's in the fucking movie.
So
Deadpool's
he's
there.
not the only one that I've heard. This is speculation.
They're bringing the X-Men and everyone together.
Yes.
They're bringing Hugh Jackman in as Wolverine for
X-Men
one
and
more
Fantastic
appearance.
Four.
Give me a Hugh Jackman,
Fantastic
Ryan
Four,
Reynolds, Deadpool.
and the version of Iron Man, which is, I believe,
Don't say Tom Cruise. Don't say Tom Cruise. Don't say Tom Cruise.
Superior Iron Man. I think
Superior
it was.
Iron Man played by Tom Cruise. However,
Nothing about Tom Cruise is superior to Robert Downey Jr.
However, they have signed Robert Downey Jr. to play Iron Man again. So he will be reprising his role. In what capacity, we don't know. Mentor.
They threw a pile of money at that boy.
Oh,
That's what they did.
yeah.
They threw
I
a
mean,
pile of it.
And what are you going to do? You're going to say no? It's the same thing they did
Listen,
to Tom Holland.
he dipped out to try to do a different movie, that the reboot of
Dick Squad Diddley.
Doctor Doolittle or
Dr.
whatever
Do
that
Shit.
shit, and it didn't do
It
shit.
did diddly
No.
do little shit.
No,
It did
Yeah.
because
nothing.
nobody wants to see him talking to birds, monkeys, and lizards.
No.
We want to
wanna-
see you in a suit fighting
God
for
damn
our
it.
lives. That's what we want to see. You got to legally change your name to Tony Stark, sir. You are that role. You are that role. It saved your career. Stick to it.
Yeah, man. What the fuck are you doing? Ed, so your final thoughts were Superman is...
I think Superman, because his average villain is a world beater. His
Okay.
average, I mean, yeah, Spider-Man has one or two guys. Batman's guys are probably the most well-rounded in terms of the variety. But like in terms of who's the most dangerous, Superman's villains.
Right. You can't even compare it. Like, Batman's got a room full of, like... I mean, Batman's only super dangerous enemy. Super dangerous is Poison Ivy.
Right.
Because if you look at her ability to control all plant life on Earth...
When they
she's
use
kind of
her
an Omega
properly,
level
she
mutant.
can be, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But Superman's got a room, like Ed said, Superman's got a room full of fucking Doomsday, Darkseid, Brainiac, Luthor in his suit, in his
Yeah.
Superman Buster
Yeah.
suit.
The shit that he's protecting the world from in his Fortress of Solitude alone. I mean, compare his little cave to Batman's.
He fought
Yeah.
Starro as well, I believe.
Yeah, Batman or Superman is. I mean, this is a guy that Superman went punch for punch with the Hulk
Yeah.
back when they crossed over Marvel versus DC. He went punch for punch with the Hulk and knocked the Hulk unconscious. Just to put into scope what
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
we're
I can
dealing with
see it.
here.
I
It's
can see it.
Superman.
I would still like to see a version of Cosmic Hulk. There's another version of a blue Hulk out there that he gets like cosmic powers.
Oh God.
And he's supposed to be like the ultimate.
There's a
Hulk.
version of Hulk for when Hulk gets angry.
Oh, so not when
So like next tier Hulk anger
Yes.
level.
like Red Hulk.
Yeah.
I think he turns mostly black.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a gray, there's a green, a black, a red, a blue.
Careful with that Hulk; they'll come for you. They'll come for you. Don't watch Tropic Thunder. Don't. We need to protect Robert Downey Jr. at all costs. All costs.
All right, that sounds good. All right, so wrap it up then. Who do you guys think is the most underrated villain in comic books?
Underrated. Like, doesn't get the attention they deserve.
The attention that he deserves.
Shit.
That's a good one. That's a good one. There's a lot out there.
For me, I'm going to go with, and I can't ever quite pronounce his name, Mitzvix Piddlix
Oh, Mixelplick.
Mixelplix.
What the
He's
fuck is
like an
that?
interdimensional.
Yeah.
He's basically like can think and do whatever the fuck he wants, whenever the fuck he
He's
wants.
a higher dimensional creature that
He's actually one of Superman's villains.
yes.
But
Shit.
when he comes in, they make him such a playful character that he's only looking to cause chaos. But like if they brought in like an evil version of him, that motherfucker could wipe
Yeah.
everybody out. So I'm like, he's a very underutilized, and like if they made him just a straight evil version of him,
Yeah.
I think he could be a much more powerful villain in that DC universe. But they definitely need to change his name. Just call him Steve, something like that. What about you guys? Any got a underrated villain pick? Could be.
I didn't have anything planned for underrated villain.
Underrated. I'm trying to think. Underrated. I mean, I guess I could go with Kingpin.
Okay.
I'd go with Kingpin because people always look at him as, oh, he's a fat rich dude, but like he's like, especially with the way that he was portrayed in the Netflix shows, he's got his hands in everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Kingpin affects so many. Spider-Man's life. He affects so many people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Hawkeye. He's messed with so many people because he's the Lord of the Underground.
And he's
Like he's got his fingers in
diabolical.
everything, and because of that, he's got his connections to even the superpowered villains. Even they know
Yeah.
who he is. Everyone knows who
And in some
Wilson Fisk is.
in
Like,
some versions of the cartoon, he was responsible for creating the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
he's got the funding.
And that's
He's got the
exactly
He
fun
was
what
the
it
guy
was.
in charge.
He would kidnap, steal, pay off scientists to create villains in order to help him keep Spider-Man busy while he controlled the city. He's not even creating things that he's like, go kill Superman. He'll tell him go kill Superman, but he's like, you just keep that motherfucker
He's like a
busy.
keep people busy.
Yeah, he's like a non-corporate Luthor. Like Luthor's
Yeah.
got the money and the connections, but Luthor's a businessman.
Yeah, I like
Like,
that.
You know,
That's
And
what-
Luthor's powered by racism. He just hates Superman because he's not human.
Yeah. Mr. Not So Clean.
Yeah, he's like, how can he be Superman? He's not a man.
Yeah, this is true.
And speaking of Sinister Six, I think because when Willem Dafoe did what he did with Green Goblin, he shows that really almost any villain, when portrayed properly, you go, man, they were doing him dirty for so long. Look
Yeah.
what they do when it's done right. Because the
Stole the show.
did.
the weight he brought to that role and the way he played it was so fucking on point.
And that just highlights, once again, why the fuck hasn't that man played some version of the Joker yet?
know
Look
what?
at that
That's
face.
fucking sick.
Yeah.
Look at
He
that
would
face.
do a great job as the
How in
fucking
the hell
Joker.
has anyone not
Holy
looked at him
shit.
smile and go,
Yeah.
where the hell's the makeup at?
Yeah.
And
You
like
know-
an old version of a future version of Batman.
Yes.
If you put him as the old disgruntled fucking
Yeah.
Joker, he would kill it. He would murder it.
Yeah, because they really, like the homicidal maniac Joker.
That, when if you do not believe me, listen. Google a picture of William Dafoe smiling.
Yeah.
You won't be able to sleep. You will not be able to sleep. He's a frightening human being.
God
he's-
bless the woman that sleeps with that man every night.
his
Wakes up
wife
to that
is the
face
bravest
in the
woman
morning.
in the world.
That's the Batman movie we deserve.
That's
Old
right.
man Batman, when he's like Dark Knight, he's given up
Mel
on
Gibson.
He's given
Mel,
up.
hear me out.
He's given up on putting people in prison, and the main villain, Willem Dafoe, as the completely suicidal Joker,
As
Make
he
it-
finally stops being, as the Peacemaker says, a pussy and kills
And
the
just
Joker.
goes
So,
hard.
a rendition of the Killing Joke.
exactly.
Yep, where
That
he
would
finally
be
puts a stop
fantastic.
to it.
The Dark Knight, Batman
Yeah.
with the spiked bat, just go hard with both of them.
Let them take each other out. I like that.
And on that note, cue the music. Thank you for joining us here at the Sofa Kingdom podcast. You can find us on all your social media platforms at,
Sofa Kingdom OFC,
and you can find us on YouTube at.
Sofa Kingdom podcast.
Ian, take us away.
Listen, like, share, send it out, email it, send it to your work friends.
Fax it.
Yes.
Smoke signal.
Yes.
Braille even.
Post it on your Zanga.
Post it on your mom's face.
Oh God. Oh God.
Okay, don't do the last
Yeah, don't do that.
one. Or
Don't
do
get
it.
sued. Don't get
Whatever.
sued.
Or do it.
Get us out there, man.
Yep.
Good episode, gentlemen. Yeah. I like a nice little surprise.
Oh yeah, good way to wind down a Saturday evening.
Man, I think I'm gonna drink me some beers and relax.
I think. Yeah. Oh shit.
That's what everybody loves.
Yes.
When they're listening to their favorite podcast.
Some people are into
I don't
that.
know,
Some people are into that ASMR shit.
I think it's a delightful sound.
Isn't there like a whole YouTube channel where like a chick just eats seafood?
There
There's-
is. Yes,
yeah.
they eat weird food.
There are entire channels dedicated to people deliberately eating and gaining weight.
Well, there you go.
See?
How did I go wrong in life?
Maybe I'm touching on a niche we didn't know we could touch on.
Yeah. Maybe we have a whole fan base we just haven't reached out to yet.